Hello, whisperers. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoy tonight's tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps more than you know. Now, dim the lights, and let's begin tonight's story. I was parked somewhere off Route 9 that night. One of those nameless rest stops with a single flickering streetlight and vending machines that hadn't worked since Reagan took office. The kind of place where even the insects sound tired. I'd been hauling a load of lumber up from Bangor and decided to catch a few hours of sleep before sunrise. But the air felt off. Too still. Not cold exactly, just hollow. Like something was waiting to fill it. I couldn't sleep, so I turned on the radio. The cab smelled like stale coffee and diesel fumes. The orange glow of the dashboard clock said 11:57 p.m. I twisted the dial, hunting for something. Static. Preachers. Top 40. Talk shows. Nothing stuck, just white noise. Until one frequency came in clearer than the rest. At first it sounded like someone tuning an old record. Scratchy, distant. Then a smooth voice slid through the static. A man's voice. Good evening, folks. You're listening to Dead Air Radio. It's the witching hour, and we're taking your final stories tonight. I thought it was a gimmick, some late-night Halloween stunt. Local AM stations used to pull that crap every October. Horror stories, ghost call-ins, all that. But there was something about the voice. It didn't sound live. It sounded preserved. Like it had been recorded decades ago on magnetic tape and left to rot somewhere underground. I leaned closer to the speaker. A faint hiss rose and fell, almost like breathing. If you've got a story to share, the host said softly, dial 666. Tell us what haunts you most before the night takes you back. Then the line clicked, and a man's voice, trembling, came through. The host said, "You're on the air." I didn't realize it yet, but I'd just tuned into a station that doesn't officially exist. The kind that only comes alive once a year. You're on the air. Tell us your story. My name's Paul, the man said after a long pause. His voice was rough, breathless, like he'd been running. I don't know how much time I have, so just listen. He drew in a shaky breath. The sound of wind whistled faintly through the phone. I live out by the pines, near Mill Creek, about 10 miles off the highway. We don't get much signal out here. No neighbors, just me, my wife, and my boy. He's 23. His name's Adam. Silence, then a dull knocking, faint but rhythmic. Paul didn't acknowledge it at first. He went hunting last week, he continued. Didn't come back till after dark. Said something came out of the woods after him, low to the ground, fast. Thought it was a coyote. Said it bit his arm before he could shoot it. I told him to get stitches. He laughed it off. A chair creaked. You could hear him shifting the phone from one ear to the other. Next morning, he's sweating through his clothes. Eyes bloodshot, skin hot enough to boil. Doctor said it was an infection, gave him antibiotics. But that didn't do a damn thing. He got worse. Wouldn't eat. Wouldn't sleep. Started pacing the house all night, muttering like he was talking to someone I couldn't see. A metallic clang echoed in the background. Maybe a pan knocked off a counter. He flinched, whispered something under his breath. I tried to calm him down, but he just stared at me. His pupils were gone, just yellow light. He growled like a dog. I told my wife to leave for her sisters. She didn't argue, packed a bag and drove out that night. I stayed. I thought I could help him. 3 nights ago, Paul said, I woke up to him standing at the foot of my bed, just standing there, breathing. He smelled like pennies and wet fur. His teeth were too long. I locked myself in the kitchen till morning. He never came back inside after that, not until tonight. A long, wet scratching filled the silence, nails dragging slow along wood. Paul's breathing quickened. The scratching stopped. A deep, guttural exhale replaced it. I nailed the doors shut, he muttered, almost to himself. Blocked the windows. But he's smart. He knows I'm still in here. There was movement. The creak of old wood, the rattle of glass panes. Then a heavy thud shook the line. Oh, God, he's on the porch, Paul said. He's scratching at the door. A low growl bled through the static, deep and animal, but close enough that the microphone distorted with each snarl. Something began sniffing. You could hear the wet drag of its breath. He's smelling for me, Paul said, voice trembling. He always could smell when I lied. Another crash, something slamming hard against the door. Paul gasped, presumably backing away. His footsteps thudded across the floor. He's stronger than he was, he said. I saw him through the window. His arms, they're longer. Shoulders split the shirt right open. Paul screamed. Furniture crashed. Plates shattered. Something heavy hit the floor. The sounds came faster now. Frantic dragging, animal snarls, bones snapping wetly. Then, I can see him. God help me, that's not my boy anymore. The creature made a sound like laughter, guttural, rhythmic, almost human. Then more tearing, the crunch of ribs breaking open. The phone fell to the ground. You could hear every movement in horrifying clarity, the sticky sounds of feeding, the breathy grunts between bites. Minutes passed. Then nothing. No music, no sign-off, just the faint hum of an open line and the ticking of an old wall clock somewhere behind him. After what felt like forever, the host spoke, steady, unbothered, as though reading the weather report. That was caller 1. May he rest. The radio went silent. I sat there in the cab, eyes locked on the dark highway ahead. My heart wouldn't slow down. It felt like the silence outside was holding its breath with me. Something moved between the trees, too big for a man, too fast for a deer. I caught just enough motion to know it wasn't my imagination. I reached for the radio knob but stopped halfway when I noticed it. Across the windshield, smeared in rain and dirt, were 5 long, wet streaks, finger-length, claw-shaped. The smell of copper filled the cab. I found the station again at 2 in the morning. Same frequency, same faint hum under the static, like breathing between the noise. "You're listening to Dead Air Radio," the host said, his voice smooth and low. "We take stories from the ones who won't see the morning." Then, after a pause, "You're on the air. Tell us what's happening." The next voice sounded younger, early 20s, nervous, trying to sound professional but losing the fight. "This is Alex Porter. I'm the night engineer for KWINN Radio Chicago. If anyone's listening, please don't come downtown. Stay off the streets." Behind him, a metallic clatter echoed, something falling over, followed by hurried footsteps. "We got the first reports around 10, Alex said quickly. "Car pileups. Fights breaking out. Dispatch was calling it riots, people biting each other. I thought it was some Halloween stunt, you know? But then the phones went crazy, and we started seeing smoke from the south side, then sirens everywhere." He paused, breathing hard. You could hear someone whispering in the background, another man telling him to hurry. "We've locked ourselves in the booth. Me, Rita from news, Jeff from traffic, and 2 interns. There's something outside the glass. It's been circling for an hour." A faint scratching came through right against the mic, slow, methodical, like fingernails on soundproof foam. "We can't see it clearly. The emergency lights keep flickering, but it moves like it's broken, all jerks and spasms, like its bones forgot how to work." A long silence followed, then the sound of someone knocking, 3 times, not on his end. It sounded like it came from inside the building. "Jeff's checking the door," Alex whispered. "God, I told him not to." The next sound was a scream, cut short, then the thud of something heavy hitting the ground. "They're in the hallway," Alex said, voice trembling. Rita's gone. Jesus, she didn't even scream. They just pulled her back." A metallic squeal filled the speakers, the kind of distortion that happens when a cable gets ripped from its socket. "I'm still in the booth," Alex said, the windows holding, "but I can see them through it. Christ, they're everywhere, their faces." He broke off, gagged, and the sound that followed was faint, wet slapping, like hands smearing against glass. "They're trying to get in," he whispered. "They're not people anymore. They don't die. We shot one. It got back up. I saw it." Another man yelled in the distance, muffled by walls. Then gunfire, then silence. Alex started crying. The mic picked up every sound, small and broken. "I can still hear the transmitter humming," he said finally. "They're coming toward it. Toward the sound, like the frequencies pulling them in." Something slammed into the booth door, hard, once, twice. "They want the signal," Alex gasped. "They hear it. I think the frequency, hell, maybe it's doing something to them, like calling them." The power flickered. You could hear it. Lights buzzing, monitors dying one by one. Then the sound of glass cracking. Alex screamed. Something howled back, not animal, not human, just hunger given shape. Please, if anyone can hear me, turn off your radios. Kill the signal. It's drawing them too. A shriek tore through the broadcast, loud enough to distort everything. Then chaos. The mic hit the ground, cables whipping, bodies slamming, screams echoing down concrete halls. I could still hear him faintly over the static. They're breaking in. No, get off me. Get. The sound that came next didn't need words. You could hear it, teeth sinking into flesh, the wet, rhythmic tearing, the gurgle of blood filling lungs. Then a dull dragging sound, something being pulled across linoleum. And then nothing. The hum faded out. After a few seconds, the host spoke, calm as ever. That was caller 2. The world gets quieter every hour. Click. I sat there in the cab, gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles hurt. The rain had stopped again. The fog outside was thicker now, dense enough that the road was gone, swallowed whole. I turned the radio dial, trying to find another station. Nothing. Just silence and faint whispers that might have been bleed through from somewhere else. For a moment, I thought I heard the same moaning from the broadcast. Soft, stretched, impossibly distant. Then something thumped against the side of the trailer. Once. Then again. I froze, held my breath. When I finally stepped out to look, the highway was empty. The fog just moved like it was alive. I climbed back into the cab, locked the doors, and kept the engine running until the horizon turned gray with dawn. But even when the sun came up, I swear I could still hear it. That low, steady hum, like a transmitter still running somewhere out in the fog. I didn't plan to listen again. After that second broadcast, I swore I'd never touch the dial. But 3 nights later, I found myself parked in the same spot off Route 9, same flickering streetlight, same empty road. It was just after midnight when the hum started. I didn't even turn the radio on. It turned itself on. No music, no voice, just that low, endless static, like wind moving through the ribs of something enormous. Then the host spoke. Welcome back to Dead Air Radio. The final story belongs to her. A woman's voice came through, soft, trembling, almost childlike. My name's Mary. I think I'm the last one left. I leaned closer without meaning to. The air inside the cab felt heavier, like the world outside had been vacuum sealed. I woke up this morning and the power was out. The sun never came up. I looked outside and every house was empty, doors open, lights still on, cars still running, but nobody's there, not even the birds. Her voice cracked on the last word. In the background, you could hear wind. It wasn't normal wind. It had weight to it, like it was carrying voices. I've been walking since noon. Everything's quiet. But when I stop, I can hear them. People whispering under the ground. They say my name. The line hissed louder for a second, like the station itself had leaned in to listen. There's something in the dark, she said. It moves when I talk. I saw it take the mailman this morning. He was waving at me, and then he just folded in on himself like paper. It didn't even touch him. A sound bled through the transmission, something like breath, but reversed, as if inhaling the air around her. I tried to leave town. Every road loops back. I walked for hours and came right back to my street. I can see my own house through the window, but it's wrong. There's someone standing inside. Looks just like me. She stopped speaking. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It felt alive, vibrating through the speakers. Then faintly, the other her began to whisper. It wasn't on the same mic. It was closer. Too close. Mary, don't move. It's behind you. The sound that followed wasn't human. It was low, glacial, stretching too long between breaths, like the whole world inhaling. Mary screamed once, and the line went dead. Static filled the truck. Then the host spoke for the last time. That was caller 3. That's all the time we have tonight. Thank you for listening to Dead Air Radio. The voice faded. The hum deepened. Then I heard my own breathing coming through the speakers. At first, I thought it was feedback, but when I stopped breathing, it kept going, perfectly in sync. The dashboard clock flicked to 3:33 a.m. The engine died without a sound. The radio crackled softly. Then, beneath the static, my name came through, drawn out, whispered by something that knew me. We've been waiting for your story. I reached for the dial, but it didn't move. Every knob, every switch frozen solid. The static rose until it drowned everything out, and for just a second, I heard it. Hundreds of voices whispering from inside the frequency, all at once. The callers, the screams, the crying, the laughter, and underneath them, my own voice, saying words I hadn't spoken yet. My name is... The transmission cut. You're on the air. Tell us your story. The voice is mine now, or maybe it's what's left of me. I don't remember turning the radio back on. I just remember the hum filling the cab, that same slow breathing in the static. It sounded almost gentle this time, like it was happy I came back. There's no road outside anymore, no trees, just fog. The kind that doesn't move, doesn't thin. My headlights reach maybe 3 feet before the world stops existing. The clock still says 3:33. It hasn't changed since that night. I've been talking for a while, I think, maybe hours. The station keeps recording. I can hear it playing my words back a few seconds after I say them. The delay getting shorter each time, like it's learning my rhythm. My voice sounds different through the speakers, slower, hollow, like someone talking through an open grave. I tried turning off the ignition, but the key won't budge. The radio stays on no matter what I do. The dials are cold as bone. There's something in the passenger seat now. A shadow sitting perfectly still, head tilted toward me. I can't see its face, but I can hear it breathing in time with mine. You're listening to Dead Air Radio. The words slip out of my mouth without me meaning to. Then I hear myself repeat them through the speakers. Half a second later, warped and distant. I think that's how it starts. First, you listen, then it listens back. Then you both start speaking the same language. The fog outside moves like static. Faces flicker inside it. Paul's, Alex's, Mary's, each whispering pieces of their stories over one another. I can't tell if they're calling for help or just welcoming me home. The radio light pulses, soft and rhythmic, like a heartbeat. My voice merges with theirs until I can't tell which one of us is speaking. We're still here, I whisper. All of us. And somewhere far away, through the dying signal, I hear the host's voice one last time. That was caller 4. May he rest in peace. The transmission ends. But the static doesn't stop. It never does.